Yeah, so we joined Barstool, and
should we have a sip of whiskey on that?
I don't want whiskey.
Go ahead. We joined Barstool.
So we joined Barstool. Kind of a big deal, I'm not going to lie. A lot of negotiations went into it. Actually, not as much as we actually needed to. We wasted about $500 on a flight to go to New York. So yeah, we joined Barstool. Basically what happened was so we started this podcast back in April. So it hasn't even been a full year of having this podcast. And Vrabel comes on. Did it all start with Vrabel? It all started with Vrabel, right?
Yeah. When we started to kind of be in the media and stuff, yes.
So we started to get a couple of
or Delaney, honestly. We cut out of the gate and they were talking about the IVs and we were kind of
That's
nervous.
right. Yeah.
And Vrabel was like, hey, listen, I hope you guys all go on, but make sure be fucking
cool
careful because they're going to take one line and make it seem like
he's talking about like people doing news articles, all journalists, they can take one line from a podcast of this podcast and make it sound like you're the worst person in the world. Right. It is what it is. It's how you get clicks. Like that's how this world is now.
Like literally somebody could say boys joking or podcast, Taylor Lewan, Will Compton joking about CTE.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So debunk that right there.
Debunked. Boom. So Vrabel comes on our podcast, says he's chop off his piece for a Super Bowl. And part of my take, who used to be rivals, now we're family, comes in and they start talking about their podcast. They said something about Mike Vrabel goes on his offensive lines podcast. He didn't even say linebacker, right?
Yeah, no. Said
disrespectful.
Offensive lineman's podcast.
Right. Go on their podcast and wish he would have done it on ours, blah, blah, blah. So we clap back. All right. In my head, I'm like, all you got to do is clap back. And part of my take, they're one of the biggest podcasts, sports podcasts ever. Get a couple things going. Might work out for the boys. Long story short, it did. Chess versus checkers. So we go back and forth. Part of my take a little bit. Shout out to Barstool. Thank you. That's a victory sip right there. How was it?
Oh, amazing, dude. Woodford
No
Reserve.
free shout outs.
No free shout outs, but shout out Woodford Reserve, Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. Honestly, top 3, but hey, no free shout outs.
Yeah.
But hey, for the boys. For the boys.
So I guess after that, who reached out to you?
They DM'd us, hey, would you guys be interested in talking? Matt Neely. R.I.P. Love Matt. Miss you, buddy. Matt shoots it over. Hey, fucking Barstool's hitting us up. And so we obviously mentioned back, yeah, we'd be interested to talk. And so that next day we coordinated it up. We got on the phone. I was on the phone with Gaz. Shout out Gaz, no free shout outs. And Erica. And I remember the first time I got on the phone, it was just me, Gaz, and Erica. Maybe somebody else, I don't know. And Gaz was like, hey, Will, we got... I'm on the phone. We also got Eric on the phone. I thought he said Eric. So I'm like, oh, what's up, man? How's it going? He's like, we got our CEO, Eric, on the phone. I was like, oh, what's up, man? How's it going? She's like, well, I'm a girl, but I might as well be one of the boys because I'm for the boys. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, yada, yada, yada. You know, we basically want to pour gasoline on what you guys are doing. We love how you and Taylor, your guys' dynamic. It's great. Really trying to fluff us up. So... you know, I'm like, all right, cool. Get off the phone with them. Get back on the phone with Matt. Matt's like, you didn't know who the fucking CEO of Barstool was? Matt was so hype about this. Matt wanted Barstool more than anything. He's like, the whole reason I am who I am on Twitter and my whole dynamic is because of Barstool. They inspired me. So Matt was bummed he couldn't be on the call. And then so I tell Taylor, like, hey, Barstool's reaching out to us. And he's like, yeah, that would be dope. You know, you never want to shut a door anywhere. You never want to burn a bridge. So we tell them, hey, yeah, we'd be interested. Taylor's going to be in training camp. I could fly out at any minute, any moment. And so we're like, hey, when could you fly to us? They give us dates. We email back and forth. We lock in a date. They fly in to see us at True Foods.
Yep.
Was that during training camp? Or was that like an off day or something?
It had to be an off day.
Yes, it was. Because the Saints called and wanted to fly me out. It was on a Monday. Saints called and wanted to fly me out that day. And I told my agency, hey, push the Saints workout back. Like try to fly in at the crack of dawn the next day and I'll do the workout off the flight instead of flying in the night before because I really want to be at this meeting we were going to be at. It was like my worst nightmare. I was like, this is exactly what I thought might happen. And so what?
No, I mean, this is my worst nightmare. This is exactly what I thought might happen.
Well, because, well, you know, you want to sit down with Barstool. It's like you're going to sit down with the CEO of Barstool.
Yeah, and Gas.
Yeah, and Gas.
No free shout outs, Gas. I tell you what, dude.
And so we went to True Food.
We had dinner. It was delicious, and I had no intention of paying, and I didn't. It was awesome. Shout out to Barstool.
That was Taylor's takeaway.
Yeah.
And So yeah, we kind of just kept the conversation open, right?
Well, the thing is like I was hitting season as soon as the season ended, or we could move forward. But during the season, like I've been very vocal about this. Don't do anything during the season with the podcast. So we have like 2 or 3 other companies that are trying to reach out to us about getting a deal done. And Will's kind of just like keeping everybody on a string. Like, hey, we'll deal with this when we can. So really nothing else. They start sending us contract stuff. And we're not going to go to contracts because it's nobody else's business. There are a few things in the contract.
Barstool sent their first offer in November when I was at Oakland.
Yes.
That's when they started.
Yeah.
Other than that, we were just kind of talking.
Yeah. And it was kind of back and forth. Your boy Ken, our suit, got involved. And as soon as the season ended for me, your season was been over. And we decided, we got together, we're hanging out a little bit. And you said something about like the language or something in the contract that we didn't like.
Right.
That we wouldn't want. So I called Gaz. And I was like, we're coming. I couldn't go in because I had a house meeting.
FaceTime Gaz.
FaceTimed him 3 times. Did not fucking answer. Super disrespectful.
Gaz texts back, just to set this up. Gaz texts back. Taylor texts him from my phone. Hey, it's your dad. Call me back. Love, Dad. Mm-hmm. And then Gaz responds like 10 minutes later, says, fuck. Calls us back.
So I answer the phone. I say, when are you guys free? They're like, well, we're going to the Super Bowl next week. And so the only days we have open is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But I was leaving for Vegas with the boys on our own line trip on Thursday. So I was like, and it was Monday. I was like, we'll see you Wednesday.
In 48 hours.
Yeah. Booked a flight, flew out there at the ass crack of dawn. Cruised over there, took our suit Ken with us, got in an Uber, cruised over, absolutely dying. There was a Potbelly's, crushed a Sammy. Gaz met us down there.
Shout out Potbelly's, no free shout outs.
Crushed a Sammy. Gaz is there. He's hanging out, awkward as hell. Him just kind of waiting for us to eat our sandwiches so we can go upstairs.
Yeah.
Went upstairs, CEO's there, El Presidente's there, Gaz is there, and me and Will. And we say like this one thing we want. And everyone kind of looks over at Dave, and Dave goes, he literally verbatim, this is what Dave said. He goes, well, this is the first time I've ever been in a podcast meeting. I don't give a fuck, give them whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then Will goes,
I was like sitting up. I was like, because you could kind of tell like it was jokes before. Taylor and Dave are kind of going back and forth about Michigan. You can tell like there's this rapport, like you're trying to like jokes and stuff, and then it starts to calm down. So I kind of like, I start bringing up, the language in the contract. I'm like sitting up like this. And I go on about this one thing. And then like Taylor said, Dave's not, this is the first time I've ever been in a meeting like this. He looked around. He's like, so you just want, so one of the things you want is just this, this, and this. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, he like looked around. He's like, yeah, sure. Why not?
He didn't give a shit.
I kind of like sat back down. I was like, all right, cool.
Little did we know that boy was about to be worth $450 million.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit about
he didn't give a shit about us. I sat back. I was like, oh, okay, well, Ken has the rest, our suit.
Yeah.
And we start laughing. And then Ken kind of goes over the other stuff. And it was like, it went weirdly good.
Weirdly well. No awkward moments.
We're
walked around for a little bit.
We're only used to that too, because when you're doing contract stuff in the NFL, like your agents and everybody gets so involved. Like every sentence matters in like a contract in the language. You got to like prepare for a divorce when a divorce isn't likely going to happen.
Right.
So it's like you got to go through this awkward deal of addressing certain things that you might want your way.
In case the worst happens, which a lot of times it does.
Yeah.
So we go, we see the whole area. It's pretty, they got a sick setup in New York. They got a dope little setup for real.
As chaotic as it seems on social media, everyone is plugged in, grinding at the Barstool headquarters.
Dude, grinding out there.
It's like quiet in all their stuff. Some, laughing about stuff. You broke down that dude's film.
Oh yeah, Trent.
Yeah.
Shout out to Trent. Every shout outs. Trent pulled up his highlight tape, his high school highlight tape, as unathletic as they come. I'll be dead honest with you, buddy. He would run and he wouldn't even move his arms. He'd have his arms by his side while he was sprinting.
He's like, hey, watch this hit though. Watch this hit. It's kind of like one of those where they both hit and kind of fall off.
Falls to the side. Yeah. And he took a pick and started chasing it back. No one in sight, and it cuts off. And I was like, well, did you get him? Did you get a touchdown, or did they get you? He goes, nah, they caught me.
Like, no one in sight.
There's a reason why they get that shut down.
Yeah.
So it went good. Big Cat comes out of nowhere and he goes, I knew what you fuckers were doing the whole time, which I don't believe.
He said that?
Yeah, he goes, I knew what you guys were trying to do when you guys were coming at us.
That's not true. That's not true. You were just chirping them because they said Offensive Lineman's Podcast. It's kind of, why wouldn't he
And then they butchered our name too.
Yeah, they're like, oh, something. They didn't even give us any credit. And then they're like, why wouldn't he go on like one of his defensive players' podcasts or something like that? Like, didn't even acknowledge that I was so disrespectful.
So disrespectful.
And then when they would quote us on any of our podcasts, like Jalen Ramsey, Vrabel, any of that stuff, Delaney, they would give us the least amount of credit possible. It'd be like a Barstool post with no like reference of Bussin' with the boys. So it's just like, we're just going to chirp back.
And we chirped.
But we weren't thinking we're going to sign with Barstool. We actually, in the very beginning, we thought it'd be cool to be able to say no.
Yeah.
But
we sold the fuck out,
baby.
We sold the fuck out.
We partnered with the fucking best.
Dude, we did. They crushed the internet, dude.
But we did though. We thought we're like, no, we're not going to go with anybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna be self-made men.
Yeah.
We're gonna do our own thing.
But then we learned how
generational podcast.
Yeah.
Families on families take over the family business.
Yeah.
Nope. Well, actually, we still own our podcast, which is pretty rad. But yeah, overall, dude, the whole Barstool thing has been unbelievable. It's been a cool. They, like Will said, they treat you first class.
Yeah.
And it is a weird thing. Like, you think of like, you see the don't give a fuck attitude that Barstool gives off. Once you're a part of the crew, and we've been a part of the crew for like 3 hours when we met everybody, and everyone was like, welcome. This is awesome. You guys are going to do great. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. It's been a sweet setup, man. It's been a very sweet setup.